This episode is brought to you by us, but we are keeping this bracket open for anyone who wishes to sponsor the podcast. So if you would like to have your business or band name or whatever at the start of this podcast, please reach out via the email in the description below. But otherwise, we're here for the next episode. Liam, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you going?
Yeah, good. So yeah, it's the second episode with just the two of us.
Yeah, it's hopefully we keep everybody entertained.
Yeah.
Don't have a guest this time, but there is one coming up.
Yeah, we've got heaps of guests lined up. Actually, for a new podcast, I'm pretty happy with the quality of guests that we've got lined up. So I'm pretty relieved that we've got.
We're lucky as well to be to have so many interesting people in Perth. So
yeah.
Lots of stories to be told, lots of knowledge to share.
Yeah, exactly.
About music and the music scene.
So yeah, this episode I think we're just going to talk a bit of music news, local news, upcoming gigs, and all that. Just finger on the pulse kind of episode.
That's it.
First off, I guess we'll start with the big news. This will probably be a little bit old by the time this gets published, but today Maynard James Keenan was on Joe Rogan's podcast and announced the new album title for the album title for the new Tool album, which is Fear in Inoculum.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Is that so? Was that where he officially made the announcement on the Joe Rogan podcast?
Yeah, well, kind of. Basically, Joe Rogan used to broadcast live, but not anymore. And what happened was he tweeted it on the podcast, and then there was a slight delay between the audio went up as soon as they were done, basically, but there was that discrepancy. So he kind of did, kind of didn't. But
so more or less.
Yeah,
seems like I wouldn't say strange, but quite a different way to announce like a massively anticipated album.
Well,
I know that Joe Rogan has a lot of followers.
Oh yeah, well, Maynard's been on there a few times, and anyone who's seen kind of how Maynard himself handled the whole 13-year break between albums thing is that he obviously got very sick of Tool fans and the media and all that. They're very much that they do things. They beat their own drum. They do things their way. They're not.
So do you think
traditional media engages?
Do you think that's his way of just kind of throwing the stake to the wolves?
Well, my thought was this. I noticed that some people online were upset because he basically announced that the album title, said he was really glad that it was coming out, and then they just talked about his winery.
Yeah,
and all that. He didn't really talk about Tool all that much.
Yeah.
And people were kind of upset about it, but when I listened to it, the takeaway thing, the thing I took away from it was that, he seems pretty frustrated with the kind of media cycle around Tool and all that. And so he's been on Joe's podcast before. Him and Joe are obviously mates, so it was kind of a thing that he was like, I just want to go catch up with him.
I understood that he didn't want to just sit there and talk about Tool for like
exactly
3.5 hours.
I think he's a bit done talking about Tool. He'd rather talk about his other passions in life, maybe his other bands, because they don't get as much fanfare. They do have their own cult followings, but
yeah, makes total sense. I guess you do something for so many years and eventually you end up finding other interests and other passions. And I know that he's talked about, because I've seen his previous episodes or snippets of his previous episodes on JRE, and he seems pretty happy to sit there and talk about wine for 3.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's from what I gather, he's been pretty successful as well with his winemaking.
Doing pretty well. Maybe
not commercially, so I don't know if he sells a lot of wine. I'm sure he probably does, but I think he just seems like he's found a new passion that's not music.
Yeah.
And he enjoys it seems like he's getting involved on like every level of it as well. Like he enjoys the process of making wine. He enjoys the science of it. Not just like, it's not like he's just slapped his name on the label and got everybody to do it. It's not a brand. It's his passion, and he's actually making it from the ground up.
Because Iron Maiden do that. Like, they have their beers and their wines, and they genuinely like them. And I think they are fairly involved with the process of what wine it is, and it's the taste that they want to represent their branding. But you know, they're not, you know, they haven't got their own vineyards. And,
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
I hate to be that guy who brings up like a Simpsons episode reference, but it reminds me of like that episode where Krusty's like walks into that office and he's got to approve all of those shonky like bits of merchandise, like Krusty brand this and Krusty brand that, like kids toys and stuff, and they're all like horribly dangerous and like malfunctioning, and he just like walks in the room and ticks the box and signs off on it and walks out, like takes his check.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maynard seems to be a lot more passionate about it.
Yeah.
If I can ever afford it, I wouldn't mind trying one of his wines.
Yeah. He is, as you said, genuinely passionate about it.
So what do we know about the new album? Other than the
it's
name?
called Fear Inoculum. It is coming out August 30th. We've mentioned it before on the podcast very briefly when it was just the date. They have played 2 of the songs live. I've not listened to it because I just kind of... Tool is a very ritual kind of album band to me. I'd rather just listen to the whole body of the album in one go. But yeah, not much. Their album art's not out. They've put this era of Tool logo, on it.
Oh, so they've changed the logo.
The logo has a new logo. But yeah, the logo has a new logo. The logo has a new style.
Yeah.
But other than that, no artwork yet, no lead single or anything. So I like what they're doing. I kind of don't like a stretched out album tease, as ironic as it is to say that about Tool when it's been 13 years since the last one.
It has. Yeah.
You know,
so
like they announced it at that concert
a couple of years ago that they announced the new album was coming, right?
Well,
it feels like a couple of years ago.
They kind of did many times, but basically without, you know, delving into it too much, the problem was that there was some legal issues with the distribution of the last album, and it took up a lot of time, and they would have had a new album prepared sooner, but it just occupied so much of their time that, you know,
you mentioned
the time was never right during that.
13 years between albums. That is just between their last album and this previous one, or have they done that before where they've waited 13 years?
No, there was only a couple of years between each of them before that.
Yeah.
So.
I should mention I know nothing about Tool basically.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, I am looking forward to hearing the new album.
Yeah.
And hopefully if the rumors are true and they reissue their back catalogue on vinyl, I'd be happy to check all that out as well.
Yeah.
But just rumors at this point still, I figure.
Yeah. It's all very up in the air still, really.
But they have announced the back catalogue on streaming platforms, is that right?
Digital and streaming. So I think it may have been on iTunes before, but it's very restricted because they were like AC/DC. I think they didn't put it up on iTunes and all that for quite a lot of years, at least, because they didn't want individual singles being sold.
Yeah.
And they wanted people to buy the album, and iTunes wouldn't facilitate that.
Yeah.
But Maynard made a really good point on the Rogan episode. He was like, we said that, and then people said, oh, what, like you do when you play live? And he was like, oh, yeah, fair point.
Yeah. You can't...
Because he said they've never played an album in full, and he was like, yeah, all right, that's
There's always a loophole somewhere that someone's going to find. But having said that, you know, I can see that where he's coming from, because like you said, that like the albums kind of lend themselves to like a start to finish listen.
Yeah.
They're quite conceptual and definitely, like, you know, I suppose they're a bit of a mind bending experience as well. So you don't want to what's the word I'm looking for? Dilute that, I guess.
Yeah.
By just
it's like,
you know, selling singles. So,
it's like reading chapter 7 of a 10-chapter book. You know,
exactly.
Might be enjoyable, but
it's not like reading a Bible verse.
Sorry. Yeah.
You can't just open it, read a verse, and shut the book.
Actually, they say something about that in Matthew 17 verses 22 to 35.
Oh, did they?
I think, yeah.
My favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite passage.
Yeah. Cool. Well, another album that's coming out, I think, a little bit sooner, that you're pretty hyped about, is Tropical Fuckstorm.
Yeah, Braindrops. I think that drops in August. I may be wrong.
I think it's 26th or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's tail end of August.
I think it's the week after King Gizzard's one.
Yeah, and that'll be their first release on Flightless, which is exciting because I'm sure the artwork and the packaging and the vinyl is going to be a pretty color, and it's going to have all of the the trademark Flightless release, trademarks, I guess.
Yeah.
But even more exciting is they've announced a supporting tour, which is great because I know a lot of people missed out on seeing them last time they came through Perth. I think they played as a part of what's the name of that festival they have at Badlands? It escapes me now, but at any rate, they played at
City Limits.
City Limits, that's right. I knew it had. I can picture the poster. It's got a road in it. I knew I was thinking of something to do with the road, but City Limits. Yeah, and yeah, by all accounts, they played a ripper show. So I'm looking forward to checking them out, and they'll be at Rock Rover this time as well, which is a venue that I think I mentioned before. I haven't had the chance to check out yet, and I think
It's
that's
not bad. I saw the OCs there.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild show, and
Yeah, it was good. It's you're definitely in a footy club room, but it's big enough. It was better than what I was expecting.
I like that idea though. Do you look behind you and you can see the oval? Is it kind of
Yes,
like you're
yeah.
So that's great.
You can go out and have a smoke in like the stands.
Can you play a bit of kick to kick? Or they not let you on the oval?
I'm sure that they have an obligation to tell you off if you go on the grass.
Yeah. So I might be inclined to take my footy along with me. I think once I got a few beers in me, I might be feeling confident enough that I could drill a goal from outside 50.
Yeah. Oh man, I just got a notification that my Adobe subscription has gone up by $15 and they slogged me for that.
What, like, do they have your credit card details?
Yeah, I pay monthly.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I had it at 28 when I was a student, but now it's gone up to 43.
I didn't know there was ever a reason to pay for Adobe. I've just always had it for free.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, I'm a tight ass though.
This just to clarify, this podcast is recorded on licensed Adobe software.
Yeah, not brought to you by Adobe. Yeah, but no, it's been an exciting day for gig announcements. Obviously, Tropical Foxstorm was announced maybe a week or two ago, I think. But I believe today, unless I'm late to the party, they announced that Mac DeMarco is playing a show in January next year. And that one will be at Red Hill Auditorium, which is a really, really, such a scenic venue. It's fantastic. If you're lucky enough to go and see a show during the twilight hours, catch the sunset, it's amazing.
Yeah, I saw Violent Soho there a couple of years ago. And they got Pond supporting.
Yeah, it's awesome support. And I believe the Perth support is Cold Meat.
Yes.
So great little lineup. But Pond and Mac DeMarco in one sitting would be pretty damn amazing, I reckon. And yeah, Mac's another one that came through Perth like probably a year ago.
Yeah.
And that was for Laneway, I think. Laneways?
Yeah, must have been.
But
last time I saw him was at I saw him and King Gizzard play together at Metro City.
Damn, that would have been good.
And it was supported. It was Mac DeMarco, King Gizzard, Kieran J. Callanan, Guns, and I forget anyone else. I think that was it. Maybe one before that.
So what era? What year was this? Like Salad Days era, Mac DeMarco?
Yes, another one would have just been coming out or just had come out.
Yeah. So pre This Old Dog, because I think This Old Dog was the one he was touring for Laneways. I was really disappointed there was no sideshow because I was very, very keen to catch him last time he was here. So
yeah, him and King Gizzard and Gum were meant to, and Kieran J. Callanan were meant to play. What's the festival down south? Southbound. I think it was either Southbound or one of the other ones.
No,
Grove in the Moo.
Yeah.
It was one of the two. I can't remember. I think it was Southbound.
Must have been.
And there was that fire that stopped all the production from being able to get down there. And so the bigger headliners like Birds of Tokyo, they did their own show, and then King Gizzard and Mac DeMarco put on one at Metro City. And it was a great night. Because it was only announced like 2 days before. So yeah.
Right. So did it sell out?
I think it got pretty close to it. It was pretty packed.
This is Metro's in Northbridge.
Northbridge, yeah.
Yeah. I've only been to see one gig there, and that was Primus with the Dean Ween group, and that was pretty wild.
Oh, really? That's a good combination.
It was pretty damn good, yeah. Dean Ween was absolutely wailing on his guitar for like, I don't know, pretty much the whole time he was up there. It was almost like one big long guitar solo.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And Primus were amazing, as you'd expect. But we'll say Security are pretty pretty different Metros. It's not like,
well, they're used to dealing with dickheads for
you've got to run the gauntlet to get in. You go up, you line up, and there's like 5 security guards sort of like eyeing everybody off in the queue, and then you walk through the metal detector, and it's very very nightclubby. But I suppose it is a nightclub.
I guess that's what happens when you're owned by bikies. And
I did hear that. But hey, anyway,
it's
it was a good venue.
Alleged.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I had heard it, but had not heard it was confirmed. But it's once you get inside, it's a strange venue actually. I remember the floor in front of the stage being like stainless steel. Was it like that when you went there? It's super slippery.
Can't remember.
They let everybody take their drinks out on the dance floor.
I've seen a few gigs there. I've seen Wolf Mother there. I've seen Steel Panther there.
I'm sure it's claimed a few ankles, hey? Like, I definitely slipped over a couple of times during Primus. It was a good night.
Yeah. I love that when you go to you see a gig at a venue and it's something odd like, say, Primus at Metros. For Mac DeMarco, it was that for me. And the bar staff who are used to just like a certain type of music, whether it's like club or electronic
R&B or whatever.
R&B, whatever. And it's just the most whack thing, and they're just like, "What the fuck is going on?" I love that when you go to get a drink, and they're just like, "This is something else."
I don't even know if apologies for any Metro's bar staff who are listening to this podcast, but I don't even know if they know how to make like certain drinks. I think because they're only used to being asked for like, certain things like club going drinks.
Yeah, like cruises and
yeah. Like I asked for a gin and tonic for the missus, and they poured me a Gordon's and Lift. So they thought that like Lift or like Solo was like tonic. So don't go to Metros and expect to be served a whiskey sour or anything that doesn't come in a can. I think they're pretty much bound to like UDL and
premix.
Premix, yeah.
So they've got that tour and that show. Sorry, Mac DeMarco we were talking about. Have you listened to his latest album?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've heard snippets
divisive.
of it. It is divisive. I can't say I've made my mind up yet because I haven't heard enough of it to kind of justify making my mind up about what I think about it.
Yeah.
What I do gather though is that this is the first record that he's done that's off of a major label. He's got his own label now.
Yeah,
Max record label. Yeah. So it kind of feels like he's sort of had a few songs in the wings for a while that he's wanted to put on an album that he hasn't been able to because maybe they've been a little bit
not that one.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of an album where he's sort of trying to clear the air a little bit, like of some of these songs.
Yeah.
It's much more mellow from what I gather, although I haven't heard the album all the way through, so I don't know if there's are there any upbeat tunes on this one, or is it all pretty glum?
There's Choo Choo, where he's like, the chorus is him going, choo choo, like the choo choo train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
there's that one, and then there's a
sounds
massive
upbeat.
Gong in the middle of it. It's pretty. I sat down and listened to it with my housemate when it came out, and when that song popped up, we both cracked up laughing because it was obviously very tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
but it is mostly mellow, and that song kind of comes out of nowhere. But there's some good guitar jams on there.
Well, that's good.
I think Mac DeMarco gets seriously underrated as a guitarist. He is very good. Like when he's soloing, there's quite a lot of videos online where he's done like Fender sponsorship stuff, and he's like he'll doodle on the guitar, and he's
He's good.
Crazy good, man.
Yeah. I always sort of could
He
hear
can
it in his
shred.
playing. Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just like a lot. I think his talent. He could go further out, but he's just making the music that he wants to make. But his ability has the room for that to go, faster paced or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that was sort of what drew me to Mac DeMarco was his guitar playing and his style and his tone and everything. You can tell he puts particularly his tone. You can tell he puts a lot of effort into his guitar sound.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably like a pawn shop guitar, and like he uses very lo-fi gear.
Yeah,
and he doesn't use fancy guitars. Yeah, but
he didn't even know what brand it was.
No, yeah, exactly. In terms of like the sound that he manages to produce with the gear that he's obviously using, I think that you can tell there's a lot of effort put into that, and also like a lot of his earlier recordings, obviously home recordings, all really, really unique sounding as well. Like he's got, like, much like Kevin Parker has done, he's sort of carved himself a niche and carved himself a sound for his own style of home production.
Yeah, jazz.
Yeah,
that's what he calls
jazz. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which I really appreciate. Kind of sounds like SpongeBob SquarePants sort of style stuff, Like
yeah,
he's
pretty sure that's exactly what he would be going for.
Yeah, it's the guitar, it's the kind of off kilter guitar, the wobbly guitar that he's got going on. Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, thought we had someone arriving there, but I was mistaken.
Yeah, so next on the list is I Hate God.
Yeah.
I know nothing about this group. You've brought them to my attention. So.
Yeah. So they are a New Orleans based like sludge metal band, but they were peers with like Pantera.
That's
actually,
where I recognize the name from.
Yeah, they're good buddies. So Pantera, I'm pretty sure, come from New Orleans as well. Texas. There you go.
Yeah.
Somehow they know each other anyway. They played a lot together.
Yeah, when you're crossing states that are that close,
exactly.
End up becoming neighbors.
But yeah, like really, really heavy, sludgy, kind of like throwing mud at a brick wall style of metal, I guess. Lots of feedback, lots of droning guitar, angsty vocals. Can't really go too far wrong with them. But yeah, they've been pretty popular, I guess, among fans of like doom and stoner metal, and like I'm sure a lot of people who listen to Chaos probably would have heard of them. They're much heavier. They've got like a grungier edge to them, not in terms of their sound, but just in terms of like probably just the amount of feedback in their songs. But yeah, no, I was shocked to see that they've announced a tour of Australia today, I think, as well. So we've been spoiled today. I heard through the grapevine, it must not have been true, but I heard they were actually banned from entering Australia because most of the band members have like drug-related charges, assault-related charges, and things like that. Apparently,
it is
against
alleged.
their names. Yeah, alleged. It is alleged. Lots of alleged stuff on today's episode. But yeah, so when that
happened to Snoop because didn't he try to bring like heaps of weed into Australia or something like that?
Like, is that true, Snoop?
I think it is. He definitely at one point was not allowed into Australia. He has been allowed in since.
Yeah,
but I remember when I was a kid and it was like talk of the town. Snoop Dogg got refused entry.
Yeah,
I think that was a bit before, like, because Snoop's been born again, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
In recent years,
so just had to.
I think this was a bit more when he was still at his more edgier point.
Pre-line Snoop.
Yeah,
is he still Snoop Lion?
I'm pretty sure that was just a phase. He's Snoop Dogg still.
Yeah,
I think to everyone
didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I Hate God will be playing at Badlands in November. So anyone out there who's into metal and hasn't heard of I Hate God should definitely check them out.
Yeah.
I think probably a good starting point would be what's the name of it? I think it's called Take As Needed for Pain. I'm probably just butchered that.
What's coming from?
There's another album called there's another album called Dope Sick that you should probably start with if I'm incorrect about the previous album title. If you haven't heard them, because it's going to be a wild show, I reckon. It will be a very loud show. Probably screw your eardrums. So go check that out.
Nice.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Matt?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. Oh, that's right. Sorry. I was going to say, coming from the angle of a Caius fan, would that be the best album to start with?
Yeah, look, I mean, they haven't really deviated from their sound, I suppose, since the beginning. I Hate God. They pretty much, not that they're boring, but like they've pretty much followed a formula, so to speak, I guess, throughout their career.
Yeah.
But one that works well, and I think that would probably, among the originators, of what they're doing. So it probably makes sense for them to just keep doing what they're doing. But yeah, if you're a fan of Black Sabbath, Caius, anything sludgy or doomy, Sleep, another really good band that that would probably fit in amongst what they're sort of doing. Definitely check it out. But it's like, much more. What's it? It's like playing Sleep. It's like playing it's like if you play Black Sabbath Volume 4, but you're like, I don't know, on ketamine or something like that. That's my best way to describe how they sound.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
What's with all the news aside, you've been exploring anything good recently?
Yeah, like I'm really late to the party on this band. Barry from Verge Collection actually put me onto them. And they are called Can.
Can, as in CAN?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most people...
I'm familiar with a few.
Yeah. Most people are familiar with them, especially people who collect vinyl.
Yeah, definitely.
So Barry sort of enlightened me about their background, or a little. They've had a long history, but like the background of their sort of trilogy of albums that are considered like by their fans the best. They had an original singer, but he left for one reason or another, or was kicked out of the band. I'm not too sure, but they replaced him with a guy named Damo Suzuki. I should mention Can they're a German, like a krautrock band. Yeah. So I believe they started in the late 60s. And by 1972, I think 71, 72, they'd teamed up with Damo Suzuki, and I think they just found him in the streets. He was like a street performer or something or other, but he was a Japanese expat living in Germany, and he teamed up with them and made 3 albums. One was called Tago Mago, I think if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah.
The second one, which is the one that I most recently purchased, is called, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong as well, Ege Bayamasi or Bamayasi. And the third one is called... Damn, I'm not too sure. I can't remember now. Someone will correct me anyway. But I got Ege Bamayasi or Bayamasi, and man, it's just, I think it came out in 1972, and it's just absolutely just so different from anything else I've heard.
Well, you want to know something interesting about Damo Suzuki?
Shoot.
On YouTube, there is a great video uploaded, and it's on Spinning Top's official channel. And it's Damo Suzuki on stage with Pond at the bakery.
Damn.
In 2012, I think. He for some reason or another ended up playing a gig with them. And they probably recorded it because, I can imagine Pond being big Can fans.
Yeah.
They, were stoked, and they're like, we've got to capture this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that's a cool little Damo Suzuki Perth link there.
Makes me wonder how they would have teed that up. Maybe like whether Damo Suzuki was just happened to be in Perth, or just happened to turn up to one of their gigs and meet them, or
or if he's a big Pond fan.
Yeah, or maybe he's like just didn't realize where he was, forgot where he was, and just wandered into a club. Just as like
oh shit.
Yeah, because apparently he can't remember like recording barely anything with Can at all.
Yeah,
it's like drug induced memory loss.
Yeah.
So maybe he was, maybe he just didn't realize where he was. Just got pulled up on stage. Like, hey, it's Damo.
Yeah. Oh shit, where am I?
That's an amazing claim to fame, though. Like, to be able to say that you played with Damo Suzuki.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. There's
Where can you find it? Where's the upload?
It's on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Just type in Pond Damo Suzuki Bakery.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Fuck. Would have been
Goes for about an hour and 10 minutes from memory.
Yeah. No, I'll check that out.
But yeah, and I think from memory, I haven't watched it in ages. I think it might be Pond when they had Kevin Parker playing on drums.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because he's obviously very linked with Pond and produces it all and all that. But
yeah,
he used to be a instrumentalist on it.
He produced their latest album, I think, Tasmania as well.
He does all of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Well, all the more recent ones at least.
Yeah. No, he's definitely got his fingerprints all over it. You can hear it for sure. In the production.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Kevinisms in there.
Kevinisms. That's great. Yeah. No, that's a pretty bloody, and that's one that I regret not seeing live.
Yeah. I've been listening to this vaporwave released by which is a collaboration between these two artists, Cat System Corp and Telepath. And the album is called Building a Better World.
Yeah.
Got released on Saturday.
On vinyl?
It is on vinyl. There's a clear one, like limited run, which has sold out.
Yeah.
But there's a standard black.
Yeah.
I think it might be 180 grams.
Yeah.
That's still available on their Bandcamp, but it is a little bit more pricey. Just because they're located in Europe and European shipping.
Yeah. GST, etc. Import tax.
And but it's really great. It's very much in line with that style that I was talking about on, I think, the first or second podcast we did with 2814's album. I forget the name of it because it's
first
in Japanese
characters. That was the pilot. No, not the pilot. The test pressing episode.
Which isn't called the test pressing on the audio version, because I found out after I named that iTunes will not let you put up a podcast with the first episode having the word test in it. I think it's because people would do it and they would go test and then upload it, and it would just like cause too much demand, and so they just auto reject it. Yeah. So it makes sense why they would have to do that, but
it's our fault for not being original enough.
I mean, I figured out a really good gimmick for the podcast name schedule, and
iTunes were like, nope.
Yeah, I got shut down by them. But I've been listening to that album. That's really good. And then I kind of, from there, I found this other one that's by a Japanese band in 83, I think, and it's called Summer Breeze. And it was like they were making that vaporwave influenced music, but in the time that it's vaporwave's referring to, and it sounds so kind of vaporwave. Yeah, it's like I had to double check that it was actually from that era that vaporwave is nostalgically referring to.
Yeah, because vaporwave is built on nostalgia. So what are these guys building their sound off?
Yeah, it was like that. It was like the perfect representation of that time period and how people remember it. Yeah, it's almost exactly in the moment of that time period they were creating how people would remember it. If that makes sense. It's
another
a
one
weird
of
way
those
for me to
time
explain
machine
it,
albums. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's what I like to refer to an album as, like when it's just either ridiculously ahead of its time or just doesn't make sense for the time period. Like, it's a time machine album.
What's a good time machine album that you can think of
other than Can? The one that I mentioned before. Damn. Plenty. In fact, I probably mentioned one on a previous podcast episode. But look, I can't think of one right now, unfortunately. Yeah. But there are many, and I'm sure everyone has come across one at some point in their lives, especially collecting vinyl. Yeah. Nearly had one pop into my head just then, and it's gone again. But anyway, that's the beauty of collecting records. Stumbling across these buried treasures that are forgotten, and dropping the needle on them and realizing that music was like pretty damn far advanced back then, much more far advanced than a lot of people actually realize, a lot than I actually realize.
As we mentioned before, if you're keen to, we're currently, taking expressions of interest for sponsorship. So if you'd like to sponsor the podcast and get your name out there a little bit, shoot us an email, rhubarbbpod@gmail.com. Also use that email to send any messages if we got anything wrong and you want to correct us. Or if you have any questions or compliments or criticisms or whatever you need to vent, send me an email.
Yeah.
We'll all read it. We all get the notifications, I think. So, it will be attended to. And we'll reply to your email at the earliest convenience. Or address it on here.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Send something completely arbitrary if you wish.
Or just send us something that you might want us to delve into, or give us some food for thought. Give us something to mull over.
Actually, let's ask the audience, what's your favorite Time Machine album? So an album that is representative of the future, of a future sound, but came out way before its movement that it's celebrated within. So weird way to put it, but if you have an album, flick it to us via email.
Yeah, definitely do, because we like checking out new music as well. That's a lot. One of the reasons why we do this podcast is to learn and broaden our horizons as well. Yeah,
and next week we'll have Honor Luca in, and she's a YouTube vlogger who's delves in international and local music and such. And she's very into Northern Soul, so
I'm sure we'll have heaps of stuff to learn from her.
So that's if you are somehow connected to the industry and want to come on the podcast and talk about your passion music, also reach out to us via email and we'll no doubt get you on. So we'll wrap it up there, Liam. Thanks for another great episode.
Thank you, man. Fun. Thanks for all your hard work as well, producing these podcasts. Do a great job.
I enjoy it.
We love you for it. Thanks, man.
All right. Catch up.